Ha-ha.
Ha-ha. Well, thank you very much. We're Patrick and Ricky, or Ricky and Patrick, or Patrick, I guess you could say.
Where's our drummer? Ba-dum-bum. Thank you.
All right, well, we've got several tunes for you tonight. We hope you like at least one of them. If you don't like any, just remember it's a free concert. We got a bunch of Irish tunes, a bunch of Scottish tunes. It was this concert, well, we'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. We ready for this?
I'm just taking a sip of my coffee.
All right. I finished my iced tea. Right.
Yes, he drinks from a horn, ladies and gentlemen.
No, gather now here where the flowers grow. White is the blossom and they blow on the bed. Hear now freedom's call, we'll make a solemn vow. Now by the roses of Prince Charlie.
Fight again at Bannockburn, the battle axe the wield. Fight with your grandsire on blood and bloody fields. Fight at the Loudon, the bonny princely shield. Fight by the roses of Prince Charlie.
Come now, gather now, here where the flowers grow. White is the blossom of the snow on the glen. Hear now freedom's call, we'll make a solemn vow. Now by the roses, oh Prince Charlie. Till the banished in our distant lands carved out a new world with sweat and blood and hands. Return now in glory on silver sand. By the roses, oh Prince Charlie. Come now, gather now, here where the flowers grow. White is the blossom of the snow on the bend. Hear now freedom's call, we'll make a solemn vow. Now by the roses, oh Prince Charlie.
Take your strength
By the green fields, the blanket feet and cold. Ships with a climb have a nation in their hold. The water of life some men need to make them bold. Like golden fishes for the seamen. Come now, gather now, here where the flowers grow. White is the blossom of the snow on the bend. Hear now freedom's call, we'll make a solemn vow. Now by the roses, oh Prince Charlie.
The Roses of Prince Charlie, ladies and gentlemen. Prince Charlie was the leader of Scotland years ago, and he was sent out into exile. And that song, as you can see, we're representing Scotland, and I'm representing Ireland. We're corned beef and haggis.
That's actually not a bad name for a group if you think about
Well,
it.
I have some friends that play with corned beef and curry. There's a guy that's from India that plays the fiddle.
Oh, no
Bob
way.
Banerjee, yeah.
You know, I was thinking the other day that it's a good job that Christopher Columbus discovered America and not India.
Oh, yeah?
Because if he'd have discovered India, we'd still be cooking the elephant. Oh, come on, wake up, folks. I know you're out there. All right.
So to talk a little history about Irish and Scottish influence in Pennsylvania, there's a ton of it, and especially Edinboro, Pennsylvania. It was spelled at, they spelled it at Edinboro, which is good, but this is the local, this is it. You're talking about Wexford, talking about Donegal. These are all places in Ireland and Scotland that Glasgow. There's a lot of influence here. And for whatever reason, people came here for opportunity, employment, just to flee persecution, you name it. There was a lot of movement back in the day. And if you were Irish or Scottish, and you showed up in one of these major cities, a lot of times there were signs in the window that say, Irish need not apply. Or, if you're a Mick, you can't work here. Don't bother showing up if you're Catholic. Don't bother showing up. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. And so over the years, you see St. Patrick's Day, it isn't just a holiday for St. Patrick. He got rid of all the snakes in Ireland and pushed all, brought Catholicism there, and the wearing of the green. All of these things were union movements. And what ended up happening at the turn of the century was the Irish and Scottish immigrants both got together, and it was a union movement. And what they had going for them at the time was that they were the white men that were able to vote at the time. And so the politicians noticed. They said, wait a minute, look at all these guys. They might change our course here. And all the public service jobs, the firemen, the police, the garbage collectors. There's a large influence, and you see bagpipes nowadays at police funerals, at firemen's funerals. That's not a mistake. That actually is part of our history. So this song is called No Irish Need Apply. It's about the stubbornness of the Irish too, if you want to listen to it. I'm a decent boy just landed from the town of Ballyfad. I want a situation and I want it very bad. I've seen employment advertised, 'tis just the thing, says I. But the dirty spalpeen ended with no Irish need apply. I says I, but that's an insult, but to get the job I'll try. So I went to see this blackguard with his no Irish need apply. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be called an Irishman. Well, I started out to find the place, I got it very soon. There I found the old lad seated, he was reading the Tribune. I told him what I came for, when he in a rage did fly. No, says he, you are a paddy and no Irish need apply. Well, it gets me dander rising and I'd like to black his eye. Some think it be a misfortune when he says no Irish need apply. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be called an Irishman. Well, says I to him, your ancestors came over here like me to try to make a living in this land of liberty. They were greeted here with dignity and taught to reap and sow by the Indians who own this land. They didn't tell you no, but I'll get a job in spite of you, for a willing heart and hand. Thank God there's better men than you all over this great land. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be called an Irishman. And they say that in America it always is the plan that an Irishman is just as good as any other man. A home and hospitality they never will deny to strangers here or ever say no Irish need apply. But there's some bad apples here and there, a dirty lot, says I, and a decent man will never write no Irish need apply. Some may think it a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honour to be called an Irishman. Thank you.
What's on the list? Oh, it's my turn. Well, I've got a song. It's not really an Irish song. It's not really even a Scottish song. It's just a song. But before I do, I've got to tell you a story. You don't mind, do you? All right, well, it's like, you know. Anyway, this is a story about my Uncle Frank. who is, in fact, it's put me in mind of this story. He's a parish priest. And his first Sunday after he'd been ordained out of Dublin Seminary was in the United States. He got up, he flew straight over on the Concorde, you know, when it flew, the supersonic airplane. And he landed in JFK, and he got up in the pulpit the first Sunday. Oh, folks, please turn your phones off. What?
Hello? Oh, Patrick. Yeah, it's for you. Sorry. Shouldn't have that in here.
Hello?
We're in the middle of a show.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm kind of in the middle of a performance right now. No, it's all right. No, I appreciate it, yes. No, the tax bill is going to be all right, I think. No, don't worry about it. Yeah, we're making music great again. Don't worry. I know. No, that's fine. It's no. Listen, I've got to go. Okay. Give my regards to Ivanka and try and stay off the tweet. Okay. All right. Right. All right. All the best to you. Goodbye, Donald. We'll see you after the show. Right. Bye. He's so insecure. Yeah, shut the thing off. I don't want him calling me back. Oh, I was telling a story, wasn't I? That's the beauty of attention deficit disorder. You know, why did the ADD chicken cross the road? You don't know. Well, because his keys had to be over there somewhere. Anyway, so back to my Uncle Frank, which I didn't know I was talking about. Well, he gets up in the pulpit the first Sunday and he says, today's sermon, he says, I'm going to give you in just a moment, but first of all, a few things about the English, the dirty, rotten English. And are there any English in the house, by the way?
Just in case. There's one.
Right. My condolences to you, sir. Well, in any event, sure, don't worry. See me after the show. I'll explain all the stories and the songs, as long as it takes. It doesn't matter. But sure, and the bishop found out about that and called him up and says, now, Francis, he says, you can't go mixing politics and religion, not in the United States. Try telling that to Pat Buchanan, you know. But in any event, he says, sure, and no more of this politicizing out of the pulpit. Well, the next Sunday, sure, and he's doing the gospel. And he stood up and he says, today's gospel, I'm going to give you just a moment. But first of all, a few things about the English, the dirty rights. He's trying to get around not doing it during the sermon by doing it during the gospel, which, unless you're Catholic or Episcopalian, probably won't make a lick of sense. But it's part of the storyline, you see. And do we have any Episcopalians in the house? Oh, that's great. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm Episcopalian myself. And in the Episcopal Church, where 3 or 4 are gathered together, you'll always find a 5th. Thank you for paying attention there. So, now, a lot of people wonder about the Episcopal Church. You know, they say, well, tell us something about this, you know, because we never hear about them, because most people in the Episcopal Church don't believe in evangelism. They think that everybody who needs to be Episcopalian is already an Episcopalian. But I tell them, well, you see, you've heard of Bud Light and Coors Light and Miller Light. Well, the Episcopal Church is sort of like Catholic Light. It's all the rituals, but 2/3 less guilt. So in any event... Ah, yes. Well, sure, and the bishop found out about that and called him up and says, now, Francis, any more of these shenanigans and it's back to Ireland with you. So the next Sunday, sure, and he's doing the sermon again. He stood up in the pulpit and he says, today's sermon is on the story of the Last Supper. And Jesus and his 12 disciples were in the upper room. And after they got finished doing the dishes, thank you. Jesus says, though the 12 of you have been with me from the beginning, surely tonight one of you will betray me. And John, beloved John, the disciple Jesus loved the best, come up to Jesus and said, oh, Father, is it me that'll betray you? Because if it is, just strike me dead right now. And Jesus says, no, Sean. You would never be one to betray me. But then Andrew, the blessed patron saint of our beloved sister Scotland, come up to Jesus and says, oh, Father, the me that betray me, just me to do. And Jesus says, oh, Andrew, no, I'm not sure what it was you just said there, but no, it's not you neither. But then Judas, the dirty traitor who sold our precious Lord and Savior for 30 miserable silver pieces, come up to Jesus and says, I say, old sport, surely it isn't I. This song has nothing to do with that. Let's get in the right key. My Uncle Walter hates chocolate eclairs. He doesn't like festivals or county fairs. but he's got more dance moves than old Fred Astaire, which is why Uncle Walter goes waltzing with bears. He goes wah, 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 waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, shaggy bears, baggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah, 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 waltzing. He loves to go waltzing with bears. Now, by the way, that's the chorus. And it appears like several times. And it's a really cool thing for us if we hear you singing it. And it doesn't matter if you get the words right. La, 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 la is good enough, okay? But see if you can get it, because you never know when you will be at an encore performance of this concert. And I guarantee you I will sing this song because it's one of the only three that I actually know. And so you will have an opportunity to reprise this performance if you ever do that. Okay? So we'll just try that again. He goes wah, 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 waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, shaggy bears, baggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah, 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 waltzing. He loves to go waltzing with bears. I crept up to his room in the middle of the night. I opened the door and I turned on the light, but to my surprise he was nowhere in sight. I'm afraid Uncle Walter goes waltzing at night. He goes wah, 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 waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, shaggy bears, baggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah, 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 waltzing. He loves to go waltzing with bears. We bought Uncle Walter a new coat to wear, but when he came home it was covered with hair. And lately I've noticed several new tears. I'm afraid Uncle Walter goes waltzing with bears. He goes wah, 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 waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, shaggy bears, baggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah, 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 waltzing. He loves to go waltzing with bears. We said, Uncle Walter, oh please won't you stay and hang round the house at least part of the day. But the bears all barged in and they dragged him away. Now he's dancing with pandas, he won't understand us. The bears all demand at least one waltz a day. He goes wah, 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 waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, shaggy bears, baggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah, 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 waltzing. He loves to go waltzing with bears. He goes wah, 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 waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, shaggy bears, baggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah, 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 waltzing. He loves to go waltzing with bears. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, but you're going to have to sing better than that. There's several tunes that we're going to be singing here that have suitable singing choruses. And if you don't sing along, then we won't be sure that you're there. We'll think you're part of the montage of the paint job here, and that's no good.
My stories are quite a little bit simpler than that, I think. I'm not sure.
Thank goodness.
But
we'd be here all night.
We like to say that the Scottish were the Irish that couldn't swim. That's what we like to say. At least that's what I like to say. But. So, I'm going to sing a song about a worker that called off sick one day. Anybody call off sick from work?
Never.
I didn't call off sick to be here, just for the record. I was on duty, and I've got my 40 hours in, so we're good.
Is Dean Miller here? I've never done that in my life.
Anyway, this song is called The Sick Note, and I do it a cappella, and just bear with me. It's pretty funny if you listen to lyrics, but it's about an Irish worker, and one of his jobs was he's a bricklayer, and he had to build this 14-story building, and he got tired of carrying all the bricks up in a backpack, climbing up all the ladders and having to carry the bricks up there, lay the bricks, go back down and get some more. So he had the brilliant idea of filling a barrel up with bricks and hoisting it up, and this is the song. Dear sir, I write this note to you to tell you of me plight. For at the time of writing it, I'm not a pretty sight. My body is all black and blue, my face a deathly gray. And I write this note to say why Paddy's not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear. But tossing them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman was not very pleased, he being an awkward sod. And he said I had to cart them down the ladders in me hod. While clearing all these bricks by hand, it was so very slow. So I hoisted up a barrel and I secured a rope below. But in me haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. And so when I untied the rope, the barrel fell like lead. And clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. I shot up like a rocket, but to my dismay I found that halfway up I met the bloody barrel coming down. Well, the barrel broke me shoulder as to the ground it sped. And when I reached the top, I banged the pulley with me head. But I clung on tightly, numb with shock from this almighty blow, as the barrel spilled out half its bricks, some 14 floors below. Now when these bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, I then outweighed the barrel, so I started down once more. I clung on tightly to the rope, me body racked with pain, and halfway down I met the bloody barrel once again. Well, the force of this collision halfway down the office block caused multiple abrasions and a nasty case of shock. But I clung on tightly to the rope as I sped towards the ground, and I landed on the broken bricks, the barrel scattered round. Well, as I lay upon the floor, I thought I'd passed the worst, but the barrel hit the pulley wheel, and then the bottom burst. A shower of bricks rained down on me, I didn't have a hope. As I lay there bleeding on the ground, I let go of the bloody rope. Well, the barrel being much heavier, it started down once more and landed right across me as I lay upon the floor. It broke 3 ribs in my left arm, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Paddy's not at work today. The bricklayer, thank you.
You might be aware. Did I mention the fact that this is supposed to be a Celtic Christmas concert? Did I mention that to them?
Sure.
All right. No, I didn't. Well, we were talking about this backstage. This has been billed as a Celtic holiday concert, and I think I actually approved that title, but I wasn't paying attention. And so there's not, if you're expecting Wexford Carol and Adeste Fidelis and other Celtic music, you're out of luck. I'm sorry about that. But we have some, you can also see that we might be a little bit heavy on the humor.
Definitely get into the Christmas spirit.
Are you needing more coffee then?
No.
Okay.
Just fine.
And I'd like to. I'm going to change this song.
So the question, you're not going to do this one?
No, I didn't say I wasn't going to do it. I'm not going to do it now. Because I think that I need the
prop.
Well,
yes.
Yeah. All right. So this is a song. Now I do expect sing along on this. It's a very sad song. It's a song of pathos and tragedy. It's a song of triumph and what's the opposite of triumph? I don't know. There's a psychological remark there. It's called Ghost Chickens in the Sky. A chicken farmer went riding out one dark and dreary day. He sat beside a coop to take a rest upon his way, when suddenly a rotten egg hit him in the eye. It was the thing he dreaded. Ghost chickens in the sky. This is where y'all come in. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Ghost chickens in the sky. Are they singing along with that?
Oh, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
You better. I'm taking names. He'd been a chicken farmer since he was 24. Working for the colonel for 30 years and more. Raising up those chickens and sending them to fry. And now they want revenge. Those ghost chickens in the sky. Ready? Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Ghost chickens in the sky. I can see that you're not all singing there, and some of you are in my classes.
Quack, 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 quack.
Quack. Their beaks are black and shiny, their eyes are burning red. They got no meat or feathers, these chickens all are dead. They plucked that farmer up and he died by the claw. They cooked him extra crispy and served him with coleslaw. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Ghost chickens in the sky. That's the whip. Now the moral of my story, as if you really care, is stay away from Chick-fil-A and KFC, beware. You're better with a Big Mac or a Whopper and some fries, or else you might be haunted by ghost chickens in the sky. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Ghost chickens in the sky. Bark, 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 bark. Last chance. Bark, 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 bark. Ghost chickens in the sky. Bark, 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 bark. That is one of my favorite songs. One of the things that we found is that when Ricky and I were getting together to work this up, we have a lot of songs in common, but we have a lot of songs that each that he sings that I don't sing but I love, and that I sing that he doesn't really care about. But this next song is one of my favorites. If it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, you got something wrong with you. And
sorry to bring you down from
the Ghost Chickens, yeah. But don't worry.
The chicken song to this one is kind of.
Don't worry. It's a roller coaster when you've got us on stage. But I was talking to my oldest son, Peter. Some of you know he was a graduate this year, graduated this spring from this great university. And he pointed out that we are in the middle of the 100th anniversary of the First World War. It was referred to as the war to end all wars, the Great War. And we can see the results of that. It wasn't. And we don't sing too many protest songs, and we don't sing too many down songs, but this is one of them. And it's called The Green Fields of France.
The original song was called No Man's Land. And it's about a guy that took a stroll through some of the graveyards from World War I. And a lot of these wars, people forget who was there. There were a lot of family trees that were ended right there. And it talks about were you just a photo somewhere in somebody's shelf? You know, it's a pretty heavy song. So don't mean to bring you down at the holidays, but we always have to remember our public servants, our military, everybody that's out there. Oh, how do you do, young Willie McBride? Do you mind if I sit here down by your graveside? Rest for a while, neath the warm summer sun. I've been walking all day, now I'm nearly done. I can see by your gravestone you were only 19 when you joined the Great Fallen in 1916. Well, I hope you died well, and I hope you died clean. Young Willie McBride, was it golden love scene? Did they beat the drum slowly? Did they play the fife slowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? And did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? Did you leave a wife or a sweetheart behind? In some faithful heart is your memory entwined. Although you died back in 1916, in that faithful heart are you forever 19? Or are you a stranger without even a name, enclosed and forever behind a glass pane? On an old photograph that's torn, battered and stained, and faded to yellow in a brown leather frame. Did they beat the drums slowly? Did they play the fife slowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? And did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? The sun shining down on the green fields of France. The warm wind blows gently as the red poppies dance. The trenches have vanished long under the plough. No gas, no barbed wire, no guns firing now. But here in this graveyard, it's still no man's land. The countless white crosses lie mute in the sand. To man's blind indifference to his fellow man, a whole generation that were butchered and damned. Did they beat the drums slowly? Did they play the fife slowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? And did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? I can't help but wonder, young Willie McBride, do all those who lie here know just why they died? Did you believe when they told you the cause? Did you really believe that this war would end wars? Well, the sorrow, the suffering, the glory, the shame, the killing and dying was all done in vain. For young Willie McBride, it all happened again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Did they beat the drums slowly? Did they play the fife slowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? And did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? Green fields of France.
Well done. Where'd our list go? Oh, guess what? It's time for another story. Oh, it's time for another story. All right, so Paddy and Michael. No, I'm not going to tell you that one. I'm going to tell you this one. Paddy was reading in the Dublin Times, an article said, celebrate St. Patrick's Day in style with a Mediterranean cruise. And he thought, well, that's just a thing that. It's been a while since I've been on a vacation, and I think I'll go on a Mediterranean cruise. So he read the particulars. It said bring £300 to Pier 2, Dublin Harbour, 3 a.m. on the morning of St. Patrick's Day for a ride you'll never forget. So he goes down, he gets his £300 together, puts his good suit on, goes down to Pier 2, Dublin Harbour at 3 a.m. on the morning of St. Patrick's Day, and there's no boat. And he's standing, he's like this, wait.
Oh, come on.
That was the edge of the pier, right? He's on the pier, he's looking, he's saying, well, how are we going to get down to the Mediterranean Sea? And there's no boat to take us. And while he's pondering this quandary in his mind, up from behind him comes footsteps, and bap, somebody hit him on the back of the head. And he lapsed into unconsciousness, and he woke up the next morning in the middle of the Irish Sea in an inner tube. Not a stitch of clothing on him. His £300 is gone. Even his watch had been robbed off. Ooh, and he's got a terrible headache. And he shakes his head in a groggy fashion. He looks around, and there's 24 other Irish fellers all floating around in inner tubes beside him. Some of them barely hanging on for dear life. Some of them sitting in the inner tube, paddling with their hands and feet, you know, like when you go down to Guadalupe, which is Irish for Guadalupe. And that's a Texas joke, by the way. And he sees his pal Michael away over there, and he says, Michael, how are you getting on? And Michael says, not bad, Patrick, and how's yourself? He says, oh, Michael, he says, I've got a terrible headache. He says, I wonder if they serve breakfast on this cruise. And Michael says, I don't know, Patrick, they certainly didn't last year. The Irish don't always win in my stories. What are we on?
I was going to talk about your kilt. Who's the clan you're wearing there today?
Well, this, in fact, is the Royal Stuart tartan.
The Christmas kilt.
The Christmas kilt, which is the national tartan of Edinboro University of Pennsylvania. Huzzah! And we have it on best authority that our glorious provost has secured funds for us to get more kilts for the pipe band. So we won't all have to walk around looking like Irish. I mean, we won't have to all, never mind. Well, I mean, honestly. In any case, so we've got another song for you. What's the next song?
Well, I was thinking about doing the Scotsman.
All right.
You play some pipes for us, you know?
Well, I could play a tune on the pipes. Are you going to sing the song first, or am I going to play the
Sure,
pipe?
then you can go right into your tune. That way you can get ready. In the meantime, I can point at you and sing the song.
I'll just go quietly backstage behind the curtain and quietly tune my bagpipe while you're singing the song. Is that right? Nah, they're in tune. They were tuned at the factory, my bagpipe.
Can we clap? Any chance? There we go. Nice and easy. Well, the Scotsman clad in kilt left the bar one evening fair. And one could tell by how he walked that he drunk more than his share. He fumbled round until he could no longer keep his feet. Then he stumbled off into the grass, sleep beside the street. Ring ding diddle diddle I-D-O, ring da diddle I-O. He stumbled off into the grass, sleep beside the street. Well, about that time, two young and lovely girls just happened by. One says to the other with a twinkle in her eye, see yon sleeping Scotsman, so strong and handsome built. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath their kilts. Ring ding diddle diddle I-D-O, ring da diddle I-O. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath their kilts. They crept up on that sleeping Scotsman quiet as could be. They lifted up his kilt about an inch so they could see. And there, behold, for them, the view beneath his Scottish skirt was nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. Ring ding diddle diddle I-D-O, ring da diddle I-O, was nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. They marveled for a moment, then one said, we must be gone.
Only a moment?
Let's leave a present for our friend before we move along. As a gift they left a blue silk ribbon tied into a bow around the bonny star that Scots kilted lift and show. Ring ding diddle diddle I-D-O, ring da diddle I-O, around the bonny star that Scots kilted lift and show. Well, the Scotsman woke to nature's call and stumbled towards the trees. Behind a bush he lifts his kilt and gawks at what he sees. And in a startled voice he says to what's before his eyes, oh, lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you've won first prize. Ring ding diddle diddle I-D-O, ring da diddle I-O. Ah, lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you've won first prize. Patrick Regan, ladies and gentlemen. When I started out with CMU's pipe band, when I played with him for about 12 years, I think, I was a drummer. So they said they'd teach me piping, but I wasn't allowed to leave the drum line because they didn't have enough drummers. So that was me just keeping the beat there a little bit for him. But
All right, but you can see how he entered the show, playing the bagpipe. Once you go bagpipes.
hey.
So where are we at now? We've lost our... Oh, there it is. Are you doing that one?
I can't.
That's a lovely song.
All right.
I've never heard this. We've put a lot of time and energy into this getting together. As Ricky said, we've been acquainted since about 25 years almost now, and this is the first time we've ever actually gigged together. We've been in the same band, been in the same pipe band, but this is the first time we've ever actually been on stage together. And I was saying backstage what a pleasure it has been to spend time with you, Ricky.
Thanks, Patrick. It's an even bigger pleasure having you guys here. Thank you so much for humoring us and listening to us tonight. So we really appreciate you guys being here tonight.
We're not done, by the way. That's not the end. Don't worry.
And this isn't going to bring you down. This is a pretty song about Scotland. It's called "Come by the Hills." It should be like their tourism song or something. They should just put this up somewhere.
I think it's the Irish tours. I liked it so much I went on to the YouTube, and I found this, and it's the Irish Tourist Board's national song at the moment, I believe.
This one.
Yeah, I know. These thieving Irishmen, you know, they take the Scottish songs and they steal them.
Yeah.
Hi. So carry on.
Who killed all the gophers?
What? Where?
The gophers. Oh, come by the hills to the land where fancy is free. Stand where the peaks meet the skies and the lochs meet the seas, where the rivers run clear and the bracken is gold in the sun, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Oh, come by the hills to the land where life is a song. Sing where the birds fill the air with their song all day long, where the trees sway in time and even the wind sings in tune, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Oh, come by the hills to the land where legend remains, where stories of old fill the hearth and may yet come again, where the past it is lost, the future is still to be won, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. come by the hills.
You want to do Patrick Regan? We'll sing along and then we'll do
Yeah,
the kids.
yeah,
Do kids song?
yeah, I don't mind
Kids
that.
turn?
I don't have any objection to that.
Santa likes this song.
I believe so. We should tell you a little bit about Santa Claus. This is a feller named Santa Kona. And Santa Kona, K-O-N. I'm not kidding you about this. I'm not.
Is he from Hawaii?
No, he's not.
No. You look like a magician with that box there. You know that.
I know, but wait a minute. All right, so I've got to tell you this story. So there was this feller, and he walked up about 10 years ago to the parade, the what's it called? Where everybody gets together. They all come home for the college. Homecoming, that's it. That's it. Homecoming.
Home.
Right,
Come home,
homecoming
man, that's
parade. And this feller walks up, and he's obviously Santa Claus, you know, because he looks like Santa Claus. And I said to him, I said, are you Santa Claus? He says, I am. I'm one of them. And I said, well, that's very interesting. And anyway, he tells me about the Clan Claus Society. Now, believe it or not, folks, there is a Clan Claus Society. And he told me about the head of the clan, and it was Santa Kona. He lives over in Ohio. I mean, that's his summer digs, you know. He lives up in the North Pole later on. But he was wearing a cap badge on his hat. And I said to him, I said, oh, that's lovely, that is. And it had a reindeer, and it had the word believe, which is the clan motto of the Clan Claus Society, as you can imagine. And I said to him, well, how would you get hold of one of them? And he said, well, you've got to contact this feller Santa Kona. So I did. And I called him up and I says, now here's the problem. I can't grow a beard or fly a sleigh, but I can play the living daylights out of the bagpipe. As I think you'll agree.
Hey, hey.
I don't often go fishing for compliments, but my students are in there, and they were wondering if I could actually play bagpipes because they never hear me. And so I said, and so I will be your bagpiper if we can work out an arrangement to where we can have these cap badges for our pipe band, because we're the Edinboro pipe band, the only place on planet Earth where there's more snow than the North Pole. And so he emailed me back, and he says, well, let's talk. He says, and I'll be at this place, at this Highland Games, at such and or other time. He says, come visit me. And I said, well, I will. And I was judging at that Games. But by the time I got finished judging, he had already gone. And that was 2 years ago. Well, a year and a half ago, I was judging somewhere else, and he was supposed to be there, and I missed him again. Well, finally, a year ago, I was in the Orlando Highland Games, which I dare say, I tell you the truth, this is where Santa goes on his vacation. And I was at the Orlando Highland Games, and I was at one of the booths. How many of you have been to a Highland Games? Raise your hands. Hands down. How many of you have never been to a Highland Games? Shame on you. We've got one right here the second weekend in September, the weekend after Labor Day. You should be there. The bagpiping is usually pretty good. And I was at the games, and they had a vendor who was selling stuff. And he was selling really, really very exquisite cap badges and belt buckles and things like that. And I said, is there any chance that you do the cap badges for the Clan Claus Society? He said, I've never heard of that place. And I said, well, the Clan Claus Society, that's the Society of Scottish Santa Clauses. And it's a great thing, and there's this place, this feller Santa Kona, and he's a great person. And I turned, and there he was, standing right next to me. I said, whoa, you're Santa Kona? And he says, well, yes, I am. I said, well, I'm Patrick Regan, the bagpiper from Edinboro University. Well, from Texas, really, but I work at Edinboro University. And he said, oh, yes, I remember you. Of course I know you. Yes, of course, because he knows everybody. And I said, well, I sent you an email. He said, you did, but you never turned up. I said, well, I was busy. I was judging. I was doing my duties, and I missed you. I'm so sorry. He says, well, what is it that you're after? I said, well, I'm after the permission to use the cap badges. And he said, well, he says, what do you want them for? I said, I want them for our pipe band because we're Edinboro University and we should have something to do with Santa Claus. And he said, well, how many would you need? I said, well, probably 25, I think, because that's probably about the most we'd ever have in any particular given circumstance. He says, well, we could do that. I said, well, okay, that's fine. I said, but now I've got to go back to the president and the provost and the dean and the chairman. I've got to beg and borrow and because I said, I don't even know how much they cost, you know, because they're gold-plated sterling silver and they're very expensive, I'm sure. I said, I don't even know how much they cost. I said, so I'll have to get a purchase order and I'll have to get permission. We'll have to go to the board of trustees. It'll take about 20 years. And I said, eventually we'll be able to afford them. He says, well, he says, we can give you 25 of them. And 5 minutes later, when I could finally talk again, which is going to come as a surprise to some of my students that I was not able to talk for 5 minutes, he said, all you've got to do is send me an email and I will send you 25 of them. Well, that was in January. Well, in May, I sent him another email. And I said, well, you know, we're about to have our graduation. Remember me, and if that deal still is still available, well, I'll come and get them. He says, no, I'll send them to you. I'll bring them to you or send them to you. He says, I'm Santa Claus. You don't come to the North Pole to get your presents. And so he sent me. Well, I should also say that I said, well, here's the situation. I also want, I want one to be able to give to each of my actual majors, the people who are bagpipe majors. When they graduate, if they survive, I would like to be able to give them one, and I will pay for them out of my own pocket. He said, well, how many of them will there be? I said, well, there's been 2 so far, and I expect 3 down the road. He says, okay, well, we'll see about that. And so instead of 25, he sent me 30. And this is what they look like. And they are gold-plated sterling silver.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice.
And on the thing it says, believe. And the clan crest, the clan animal is, of course, a reindeer. And if anybody wants to see that afterwards, come up to Willie's where Ricky is playing and his band Donny Irish. And I will show you the cap, because this is an exquisite thing. And so Santa Claus really does exist. And anybody who doubts that is stupid.
Tell them how you really feel, Patrick.
No, I can't. There's children in the audience.
Yeah. Forget.
The fool has said in his heart, there is no Santa Claus. And he gave us these. He gave these to the university. I have no idea what they cost. But gold-plated sterling silver ain't cheap when they're custom made. And so Santa Kona is my personal hero, or at least one of them. Why'd I tell them this?
So a Christmas song then, huh?
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah?
Oh, no, we were going to do that one, aren't we?
We can.
Let's do that one.
Once in a year, it is not for amiss to visit our neighbors and sing out like this, of friendship and love with neighbors around, and peace and goodwill the whole year around. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Bring us some figgy pudding and a cup of good cheer. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring it right here. Christmas, we wish you. You thought you were off the hook, huh? We wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, after the show, I'll be going straight over to Fat Willie's wing house over there, and we'll be jamming the night away. My band is called Donny Irish. Yeah. There's no cease and desist order yet, so we're safe. At least for now.
For now.
He seems fairly amused. I don't know. He hasn't showed up to any of my gigs yet, but we'll see.
What? No, I went to one the other night. I was incognito. It's a funny place, Cognito.
You got it.
We doing that one
So
then?
we do a little kid's song.
Now, okay. If you do not know this, if you do not know the chorus to this, in fact, you're welcome to sing along with the entire song, except for the last verse, which you won't know.
I think.
What? No. Really? Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought in strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail. Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whene'er they came. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Oh, Puff the magic dragon
lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. A dragon lives forever, but not so little boys. Painted wings and giant rings make way for other toys. One grey night it happened, Jackie Play became no more, and Puff that mighty dragon sadly ceased his fearless roar. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
His head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. Puff no longer went to play along that cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave. So Puff that mighty dragon sadly slipped into his cave. Oh,
Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. One day as Puff lay crying, a man and boy walked up. The man said, Puff, remember me, and Puff's sad eyes lit up. For the voice was Jackie Papers, and he brought his girl and boy, who swore they'd never part again, and Puff just cried with joy. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea
So I'll do Danny Boy if you want to get ready for the
Yes.
pipes. So before we leave you tonight, we're going to play one more song here, and then we're going to pretty much end up with the pipes here. But I had a special request because we have a lot of law enforcement contingency in the area and people that are supporting our cause here for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Just recently, we had a New Kensington, which is in Westmoreland County, just south of here. An officer was shot and killed, and to remember that his family's not going to be with him this holiday season. So, hate to bring you down, but I'm going to sing you a song that was a special request from a friend of mine. So, I did this with the Pittsburgh Symphony. I sang it at a funeral, and one of the symphony members said, "Hey, I like you. I like that song. Let me get your information." And it was like 3 years later, she called me. It was 9 o'clock in the morning after I worked a shift all night. And she's real bubbly. She goes, "Hi, this is Cindy with the Symphony, and I want you to know that I took your number, and I loved your song, and I'm now the principal oboe with the Symphony." And I was like, yeah, congratulations. Is there something I can help you with? So I thought maybe she wanted money or something. I give. She said, "I want you to come down. Marvin Hamlish wants to meet you." And what a life-changing opportunity that was. I got to sing before the symphony this tune, and he passed just that next June. But they had me back because he asked for me to be back. So there it is. And I think an Englishman wrote this. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses fallen. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when you come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, you come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear the soft you tread above me, and though my grave will warmer, sweeter be, for you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Did you want to say anything else, Tone?
No, he doesn't. Right? Not really.
Come on up. Come on up.
Oh, geez, this is a mistake. He's as bad as I am.
That's the pot calling the kettle,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Rick, I didn't want to, but I did just because I knew how much it would irritate Patrick.
Perfect.
But actually,
Lovely.
I had one big omission. I was worrying about acknowledging and thanking so many people, but I have to acknowledge Kayla Frick, the acting president of the Public Relations Student Society of America, and the board members. They're the very professionally dressed young women at the back of this room, and they're here not to raise money for their own organization, but to help raise money for the Cappelletti Scholarship Fund. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to acknowledge them, which was an oversight. And of course, that gives me a reminder that they will be in the back of the hall with their containers and even their swipe card if you would care to make a contribution to the Cappelletti Scholarship Fund. Let's give a big round of applause. I think they have some more piping for us, but let's really thank Patrick and Rick.
And thank you very much, Tony. And we have a couple of thank yous as well. First of all, to Brandon, who is live streaming us, and his crew with ETV, and also to the folks back. You see that room back there. Back there, there's Cassie and hang on. Don't help me. I said, don't help me. Roxana. I knew it. It was just a matter. And then Jill Linton, who is the director of that program. A round of applause to our sound and lighting people. Because if it wasn't for them, it would just be an hour and a half of bagpiping, you know, so... Anyway, so we're going to close with a very obscure piece, a tune that maybe nobody even knows around here.
No one knows this one.
Nobody knows this one. Yeah. And thanks once again, and please show up to Willie's, because that's how he's getting paid.